Football has always celebrated goal scorers, but some strikers are more than just goal scorers. Some change the way we watch the game. Some make defenders tremble before the ball is even played. Some leave a mark so indelible that history remembers them not just for their talent, but for the inevitability they carried. Ruud Van Nistelrooy was one of those players. Van the Man, the deadly striker, a predator of the penalty box, a clinical finisher, a man whose timing was unmatched and whose presence alone could alter the course of a match.
Surrounded by white shirts and still going. What a run by Ruud Van Nistelrooy! What a goal this could be!
But Van Nistelrooy's story is more than goals. It is the story of instinct refined into art, ambition measured against pressure, and brilliance that demanded perfection every single time. This is the story of Van the Man, Manchester United's most lethal striker of his era and one of football's most feared forwards. Ruud Van Nistelrooy was born in Oost, Netherlands in 1976. He did not arrive in football quietly. His hunger was visible from the start. Unlike players who rely on raw athleticism or dazzling flair, Van Nistelrooy's strength was calculation, observation, timing. As a youth at Den Bosch, he was always in the right place at the right time, always 2 steps ahead, always predicting the next movement of the ball. He was not just playing, he was learning. Learning how defenders moved, how goalkeepers reacted, how the game breathed. By the time he signed for Heerenveen, it was clear. Van Nistelrooy was not merely talented. He was destined to finish, and finish he did. In every team he played for, his reputation grew. Every goal was precise, almost surgical. Every movement inside the box seemed choreographed, yet instinctive. His move to PSV Eindhoven in 1998 marked the first major step in his career. At PSV, Van Nistelrooy matured into a striker of terrifying efficiency. He was no longer just a young prospect. He became a phenomenon in the Eredivisie. Matches were punctuated by his arrivals in the box. Defenders knew his name. Goalkeepers feared it. He was not a flamboyant dribbler. He did not dazzle crowds with tricks. He stalked spaces. He waited. And then he struck. The term predatory striker fits him perfectly because, like a predator, he studied his environment, calculated risk, and waited for the perfect moment to attack. By the 2001 season, he had caught the attention of Europe's biggest clubs, and it was Manchester United who took the decisive step. In the summer of 2001, Ruud Van Nistelrooy arrived at Old Trafford. Manchester United had their talisman, a striker who could score in any circumstance, any position, any pressure, and he wasted no time announcing himself. From his first season, Van Nistelrooy tore through the Premier League. His first goal for the club was clinical, an instinctive tap-in that left fans and pundits alike in awe. But it was not just the goals that impressed, it was the way he moved, always in the right space, always asking the question, where will the ball land? Opponents tried to track him. They tried to anticipate his movements. But Van Nistelrooy was always one step ahead. By the end of his debut season, he had scored 23 Premier League goals. And just like that, the deadly striker had arrived. Van Nistelrooy's mastery lay not in power alone, nor in raw speed. It was timing, anticipation, positioning. He understood angles. He understood the flow of the match. He could sense danger. And more importantly, he could sense opportunity. Every penalty box is a battlefield, and Van Nistelrooy treated it as such. He did not panic under pressure. He did not overthink. Instead, he measured, calculated, executed. Defenders could push, goalkeepers could dive. But Van Nistelrooy's finishing was relentless, almost inhuman. Headers, one-touch finishes, tap-ins, long-range strikes, penalties, free kicks. He mastered them all. The term clinical is often overused in football commentary. For Van Nistelrooy, it was literal. Every touch counted, every movement mattered. The 2002 to 2006 period at Manchester United is where Van Nistelrooy became immortal in the eyes of fans. He was the focal point of Sir Alex Ferguson's attack. Every counterattack, every set piece, every cross in the box was an invitation. And Van Nistelrooy always accepted. He broke Premier League records, scoring more than 150 goals in just over 219 appearances across all competitions. He won the Premier League Golden Boot in 2002 to 2003 with 25 goals, and again in 2003 to 2004 with 20 goals. He terrorized defenders week in and week out. But beyond the numbers, it was the way he scored that left an impression. Every goal was a demonstration of footballing intelligence. Every movement, a lesson in anticipation. Every finish, a reminder of why a striker's mind matters as much as his feet. Van Nistelrooy's name is synonymous with some of Manchester United's greatest moments in Europe. In the Champions League, he scored in the most critical of fixtures, against Bayern Munich, Juventus, Real Madrid. And in the Premier League, he consistently punished Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool. Opponents dreaded the ball coming into the box because they knew he would be there. The Van Nistelrooy effect was simple. Defenders were never sure if they were watching a player or a machine. Every feint, every dummy, every time run was designed to create one thing: space. Space to finish. And finish he did. With greatness comes expectation. Every game, every goal, every missed chance was magnified. Van Nistelrooy faced it like he faced defenders, with quiet focus. He was not a player who thrived on hype or media adoration. He thrived on preparation, on anticipation, on execution. And yet, even the most precise predator can face challenges beyond control. Injuries began to take their toll. Muscles tightened, minor knocks extended, matches were missed. For a striker of his style, continuity was critical. 1 week out meant losing rhythm. 2 weeks out meant losing confidence. And the Premier League never waits. The first serious injury came in 2004, a cruciate ligament scare that sidelined him for months. Van Nistelrooy recovered. He returned. He scored. But the body remembers trauma, and football is unforgiving. Recurring hamstring and muscle injuries began to appear. Not enough to end his career, but enough to chip away at his consistency. By 2006, it became clear, even Van Nistelrooy's incredible mind and precision could not fully compensate for a body under constant strain. In 2006, Ruud Van Nistelrooy transferred to Real Madrid. The move was controversial. Manchester United fans felt betrayed. But Van Nistelrooy sought a new challenge, a stage in La Liga where his goal-scoring instincts could thrive. In Spain, he faced new defenses, new rivals, and a new tempo. And yet his striker's mind remained intact. Goals came with the same clinical precision. The instinct never left. Van Nistelrooy's career spanned multiple leagues, but his time at Manchester United is the defining chapter. He was not a dribbler. He was not a creator. He was a finisher. But in being a finisher, he became more than that. He became a lesson in anticipation, a study in timing, a masterclass in striker's intelligence. Modern forwards often rely on movement, flair, or pace. Van Nistelrooy relied on instinct, patience, and precision, and it made him deadly. Football is as much mental as physical. Van Nistelrooy's genius lay in his understanding of defenders' psychology. He knew hesitation, he knew panic. He exploited it. A half step too late by a center back could mean a goal. A split-second misjudgment by a goalkeeper. Instant score. He did not just run into spaces, he ran into decisions, and he won those decisions consistently. By the time he left Manchester United in 2006, 150-plus goals in just over 200 appearances, 2 Premier League Golden Boots, 3 consecutive Champions League campaigns with double-digit goals, record-breaking efficiency in finishing inside the box. Numbers matter in football, but Van Nistelrooy's impact transcends numbers. It is felt in the hesitation of defenders, in the tension of goalkeepers, in the inevitability of watching him score, and knowing he would. Ruud Van Nistelrooy reminded football of something essential. A striker's mind is as lethal as his feet. Positioning, timing, anticipation, execution, precision, decision-making under pressure. Van Nistelrooy's career is a blueprint for the modern striker. He proved that instinct can be refined, that anticipation can be trained, that ruthlessness is an art. The man was more than a goal scorer. He was a teacher, he was a predator. He was a striker whose brilliance demanded respect. In a game obsessed with flair and spectacle, he demonstrated that effectiveness is its own form of beauty. Ruud Van Nistelrooy will be remembered not for the celebrations or the dribbles or the theatrics. He will be remembered for the inevitability of the goal, for the striker who always seemed two steps ahead, for Manchester United's deadly predator, Van the Man.